We're playing a brand new card from Avatar: The Last Airbender Eternal, Storm of Memories, and I'll be honest with you, it's better than I thought. Let me tell you why. We're playing a brand new card from Avatar: The Last Airbender Eternal, Storm of Memories. For 2 triple red, 5 mana total, you have a sorcery with Storm. You exile an instant or sorcery from your graveyard with mana value 3 or less. You can cast that card for free. And if you do, you exile it. Okay, so why is this card so good? Why is it better than Past in Flames, for example? Well, it's uncounterable. Or by traditional means, like Force of Will, Counterspell, Daze, whatever. You can counter it with something like Stifle or Consign to Memory, okay? But it essentially bypasses counter magic. In my previous video, I played Defense Grid. We're not playing Defense Grid in the main deck today. And why would I play Defense Grid in Ruby Storm? So that goes back to a much larger conversation that I've done in my previous Legacy Ruby Storm videos, where I am not a fan of bonus round, and that upset some people. And I'm not trying to upset anyone, I am just trying to build the best deck possible. And I understand when bonus round works, you get to make 5,000 mana, and you get really sweet screenshots for Twitter, or, you know, your local Discord, whatever you're trying to do. And I get that winning really big is awesome. I'm not trying to win big, I'm just trying to win the most games possible. And I think that bonus round is essentially a win more card. It's only good when you're doing the thing. So bonus round costs 3 mana, and then you need additional mana like Rite of Flame, for example, or Manamorphose after the bonus round resolves in order to get going. But it's also symmetrical. So if you play bonus round and then you play a Rite of Flame, and your opponent casts Force of Will or Daze, their Daze or Force of Will is also copied. So you're spending a ton of mana to initially get started, and you have to hope everything resolves. Some people believe that those bonus round builds are better versus blue. I'm not so convinced. So that is why I play 2 copies of Wish and in the past Defense Grid. But with Storm of Memories, you no longer need Defense Grid. And this card, in my opinion, is much better than bonus round at beating those blue decks, because you actually get to overpower the blue decks and make them make the fight about mana. So today we're playing Desperate Ritual. This card replaced Defense Grid. At the end of my last video, I said that the deck was a little mana hungry. I've done some preliminary testing with this deck. It's no longer mana hungry. When you have Rite of Flame, Desperate Ritual, Seething Song, and then 4 copies of Jessica's Will between the main deck and the sideboard, because you can Burning Wish for it, you no longer need, you know, additional mana sources. So this deck is really like a smooth engine now, and I think this might be the best build of Legacy Ruby Storm I've ever played. I might have been sleeping on Storm of Memories a little bit, at least in my, you know, practice room games. This card has really overperformed. So hopefully we get to showcase that today. And you'll notice that everything other than Storm of Memories costs 3 or less in this deck. So that means Rite of Flame, Burning Wish, etc. all get to be cast with the Storm of Memories. So I think that there's some good deck building going on here. In the sideboard, we still have 4 copies of Leyline of the Void. Oops All Spells and Dimir Reanimator haven't gone anywhere post-ban, and I still think that you want Leyline of the Void. I've cut the Mindbreak traps, instead we're playing the sideboard defense grids there. As I mentioned, Storm of Memories is a little bit weak to Consign to Memory. Hopefully Defense Grid helps shore that up just a little bit. So you could play Spider-Punk, I am well aware, but I've really been enjoying Defense Grid in Legacy the Epic Storm, so I'm choosing to play it here. And one thing that I found testing Spider-Punk in the Epic Storm is that the best tempo deck is it Delver, and having your protection spell die to Lightning Bolt or Hydroblast is not particularly strong, especially in Legacy Ruby Storm, where your opponent wants to kill Rail Monsoon Mage anyway. So I'm choosing Defense Grid over Spider-Punk. Maybe it's the wrong move, but I think it's probably the right one. Outside of that, we have some traditional Burning Wish targets like Shattering Spree, our win condition with Grape Shot, Galvanic Relay to also overpower blue decks, Jessica's Will as a ritual that makes mana off of Burning Wish, Alchemist Gambit. This is here so that way you can either Time Walk off of Burning Wish in order to untap and make more mana, or it allows you to beat the One Ring, because when you combine it with Empty the Warrens, those creatures on the following turn can deal damage through the One Ring protection, and I think that's pretty cool. We have the 4th copy of Storm of Memories and then Blast Zone. This can be found off of your Wish, and it allows you to beat things like Deafening Silence, and I think that's pretty helpful to have in the sideboard. So that's what I've got for today. That's my long-winded deck tech. Let me show you why Storm of Memories is so good, and I'll see you in match number 1. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Round number 1 with Legacy Ruby Storm. We're on the play. Let's go. Alright, we have double rail Monsoon Mage. I think I like that. I will lead with the Sandstone Needle. I don't know what our opponent's playing, but I like the upside of potentially playing a second turn rail. They play Eldrazi Temple. Okay, so the rail Monsoon Mage on the second turn makes sense here. And because we're playing Seething Song, in theory, I could go Seething Song into the rail Monsoon Mage and then Ren's Resolve. 3 mana here for a Glaring Fleshraker. Okay. Interesting. We'll play the rail Monsoon Mage. I think I'm going to go for it here. We'll play Desperate Ritual. Trigger the rail. We'll say Tails. And now the Ren's Resolve. Tails again. No, I don't want to transform. Burning Wish, Rite of Flame. Hi-oh. We'll play the Rite of Flame. No, I don't want to transform. And now we'll play Seething Song, Tails, and now Burning Wish, Tails. And now we'll grab Storm of Memories. We'll cast Storm of Memories. Ooh, that was a bad idea. Well, I guess I get to flip the rail. Okay, maybe it's fine. For some reason, I forgot that Storm of Memories doesn't cast the Burning Wish that went to exile, so that was me being a little silly. But we do have some opportunities here to flip the rail Monsoon Mage and be fine. So flip, yes, transform. Just a slight error in judgment there. Don't mind me. Maybe I was supposed to just grab like Empty the Warrens or something. Ooh, another Storm of Memories. That's pretty cool. And now we'll ultimate the Rail Leyline Prodigy. We'll play the other one because why not? And now we'll play Rite of Flame, Tails. I did not flip. We'll play Desperate Ritual, Tails. Yes, I would like to transform. Keep the one with a bunch of counters on it. Desperate Ritual. We'll ultimate the Rail Leyline Prodigy. And here we go. We'll play Wish. And the opponent concedes. Nice. So we got game number 1. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think we're even going to sideboard here. The nice thing about Ruby Storm is you naturally beat a lot of hate. Like, you don't care that much about Chalice the Void on 1 because you play 4 copies of Rite of Flames. So they would have to Chalice the Void for 2. Null Rod doesn't affect us. In fact, some lists of Ruby Storm even play Null Rod in the sideboard. Trinisphere. That one can be a little bit tough, but most people don't play it. So I think in this matchup versus Eldrazi, we're just resubmitting and hoping for the best. Alright, so we have turn 1 Mountain, turn 2 Jeska's Will into like Burning Wish, Empty the Warrens. I don't know if I love a 5-lander. But part of me thinks that maybe we should keep. It is very stable. Maybe Jeska's Will isn't going to make 6. So what if it only makes like 4? Maybe I am supposed to mulligan. Okay. And this hand's just way better. We'll get rid of the Jeska's Will. And let's play. So on turn 2, I can play Seething Song into the Rail Monsoon Mage. And then Manamorphose into Wish. So this hand is strong. Ruby Medallion. That was a good draw. We'll play the Ruby Medallion. Okay. Unclaimed Territory. Surprise, surprise, they name Eldrazi. They play Lotus Petal. Is this a Thought-Knot Seer? Chalice of the Void for 2. Okay. We can beat this. So I can play Seething Song, Wish, Empty the Warrens? So Seething Song, I'd have 6 mana. Wish, I could even throw a Manamorphose in there. I think that's the line. Seething Song, play Wish. Empty the Warrens costs 3 mana. So we can throw away the Manamorphose that I don't care about. Oh no, I've been countered. And now we empty the Warrens. Or 8 goblins. And hopefully the 8 goblins are good enough to win the game. They play Cavern of Souls. They name Eldrazi, surprise. So hypothetically, okay, well they didn't. I was going to say, if they play a Thought-Knot Seer, they go to 16 there. We will attack. Is this a Kozilek's command? 5 mana. So they could exile 1 and make a couple blockers, or they can make blockers plus dig. That's what they're going to do. They're going to make blockers plus dig. They put 3 cards on the bottom. They do not block. They just take 8 damage down to 8. They play another Cavern of Souls, Glaring Fleshraker. They have 2 cards in their hand. And now they play the Thought-Knot Seer, so they'll get another blocker. They're at 6 now, though. They take the Rite of Flame, which makes sense with the Chalice of the Void for 2 in play. We'll go to combat. Swing. So they can block. 2 of my goblins will die, and then they'll take 4, which seems fine, because now they're at 2. Looks like they have another spell to cast. Is your last card a Kozilek's command? Shouldn't you wait? Okay, it's another Warping Whale, which is countered by their own Chalice of the Void. But they do get to make another blocker here, off of the Glaring Fleshraker mana. Or trigger, I should say, not mana. I was recording the Eternal Glory podcast last night, and I made a joke to Phil Gallagher about how Eldrazi players can't help but cast their own spells into Chalice of the Void. It's so true. Every time I face an Eldrazi player, they forget about their own Chalice. I don't know if this person did, but there's always the possibility. So they're at 2. We have 6 attackers. They need a spell here if they want to live. Particularly a blocker. Because otherwise I swing out for lethal. And we win the match. How about that? We beat a Chalice of the Void for 2. Game number 1, we got the Storm of Memories. That's just good, clean Magic. We're now 1-0. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 2 with Legacy Ruby Storm featuring Storm of Memories. Well, this is a hand that doesn't have a red source. I think you're supposed to send this one back, unfortunately. This one's keepable. Bottom, the second copy of Rail Monsoon Mage. We'll play Mountain and pass. We need some mana here. Versus Tower. Alright, we're facing Mystic Forge. This should actually be a favorable matchup. We'll play Ancient Tomb and the Rail Monsoon Mage. Because our deck doesn't actually care about Karn the Great Creator, and we can beat Ring Protection. So I think we're favored. I could be wrong, but that's my current belief. They play Urza's Workshop, and now Grim Monolith. I really need mana. That's the draw that I need here. And by mana, I do not mean lands. Like a Seething Song or something would be very good. They play Karn the Great Creator. Okay. And now they minus the Karn. So Tormod's Crypt does matter for my Storm of Memories, but they don't know that I'm on a Storm of Memories deck. They grab Portable Hole. No! No! Brutal. That hurt. That was not good. We will play Ren's Resolve. Rite of Flame and a Mountain. So, I think Shattering Spree is the card I want. I could go Rite of Flame, Burning Wish, Shattering Spree, and get back my Rail Monsoon Mage. Or I can just Burning Wish or Shattering Spree next turn, Shattering Spree, Rite of Flame, Storm of Memories, and I think that's better, but I have to live. So, we'll see what happens. I'm grabbing Shattering Spree, and we'll pass the turn. They play another Urza's Tower. Oh, they have Lattice here. Ah, okay. I forgot about Workshop having Metalcraft. Okay, so I lose this game. Whoops, I needed to kill the Grim Monolith. It just escaped me. Okay, unfortunate. No sideboard, we're just going to run it back and hopefully do a little bit better this time. Both me and the draws. It stinks because I really do believe that this is a favored matchup for Ruby Storm. I just didn't show it in game number 1. Game 2, we're on the play. Yeah, this seems fine. Play the Mountain and pass the turn. They play Urza's Tower, Lotus Petal, Lotus Petal. 3 mana here for a Tezzeret Cruel Captain. And now they search for a Lotus Petal. They play it. Okay, so they have 4 cards in their hand. That makes Jeska's Will not super reliable. Seething Song, that was a good draw. So we can go Desperate Ritual, Seething Song, Ruby Medallion, and then Ren's Resolve with 2 red floating. Will Jeska's Will targeting our opponent for 4 mana. play the Rail, and then Jessica's Will for cards. And this would be the 5th spell, because Storm is 7, and I've played Ruby Medallion and Rail this turn, so I do not want to transform. No. Alright, 3 cards. Reckless Impulse, so now I do want to transform. Tails, yes. Boom! And now we can ultimate the Rail, and that's enough to win the game. Beautiful. Alright, we'll cast Wish. Jessica's Will for 4 mana. Target you. We'll play Ruby Medallion because I can. Ren's Resolve. Play Rite of Flame. Ren's Resolve. Reckless Impulse. Rite of Flame. We'll play another Rail, because if we somehow get hit by Mindbreak Trap, I guess I could probably do some stuff to work around a Mindbreak Trap as well. Maybe I'll play the Defense Grid here, because I have Burning Wish into the Grape Shot. We'll play Desperate Ritual. Tails. Yes, I'd like to transform. And now I can just Burning Wish Grape Shot. We are protected by Defense Grid. Okay, target you. That was sweet. Nice little turn 2 win there. And now we're on the draw for game number 3. Game 3 on the draw. This hand has the potential. So what I need to do is draw an untapped land on turn 1 or turn 2, and then we can try for another turn 2 win. That is the advantage of playing Sandstone Needle. A lot of people try to not play it, and I think that those people are wrong, but we're all welcome to our own opinions. They have a first turn Tezzeret Cruel Captain. They search out a Lotus Petal. They play it. Yup. Ooh, I no longer need the land. I mean, a land would be amazing, but I don't need it. So turn 2, we have Desperate Ritual, Ruby Medallion, Manamorphose, Seething Song, Burning Wish, Storm of Memories. Oh boy, we're going to do it. They play Lotus Petal. Just play the One Ring. I don't even care about that card. They play Pithing Needle. Okay, sure. The card that they would like to name is Rail. They named Leyline Prodigy. That is the one you would like to name. Monsoon Mage is the front. Rail Leyline Prodigy is the back. So now their Tezzeret goes up to 4. They can search again. It looks like they're going to here. They find Mox Opal. They play it. Now Urza's Workshop. 4 mana for a Karn the Great Creator. Okay. The Karn minus grabs a Tormod's Crypt. Okay, so that's going to shut off the Storm of Memories line, but that's not the end of the world. Oh, a Jessica's Will. Alright, so we'll begin with the Desperate Ritual. Ruby Medallion. Manamorphose. Red. We found the Rail. The downside is that I don't want to transform it due to the Needle. So I can play the Rail here for 1, and it's going to make the Seething Song cost only 1 mana. So it's worth playing out. I could also potentially... Oh, you have the Dismember? Okay. Wow, what a hand. They had Dismember too. But it looks like we're going to be okay here. I'm not going to fret. They're at 12. I think we might be able to just Natural Storm win. We'll say Tails. Let's Reckless Impulse. I hit land in a Ren's Resolve. We'll play Ren's Resolve. Storm of Memories is not good here. Storm is currently 8. They're at 12. What to do? Need a little bit more mana. They have no hand. So an option I have is Jessica's Will for cards. And then if it fails, Burning Wish, Grape Shot, kill both their Planeswalkers and ping them for a bunch. I think that's probably the line. I mean, I could Burning Wish for Shattering Spree, but I don't think that actually helps me in this spot. So we will Jessica's Will for cards. Let's see it. Rituals would be nice. A Desperate Ritual. That's from 10. Burning Wish is 12. Or I'm sorry, Burning Wish is 11. Grape Shot's 12. Nice. That's lethal. Target you. They had an insane start, but so did we. Turn 2 through a Dismember, through Karn the Great Creator, through Pithing Needle, and Tormod's Crypt. Our opponent just put ... in the chat. Yeah. We were quite resilient this game, no doubts about it. And just like that, we're 2-0 with Legacy Ruby Storm featuring Storm of Memories. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $15.99. This token combo pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens featuring classic Storm and Mana tokens with new inclusions such as our modern Ruby Storm package, but that's not all. Our token pack covers a variety of formats from Pauper to CDH with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. We are back for the third match. On the play, let's try to get another victory here. Turn 1 Ruby Medallion into turn 2 Seething Song. Yeah, let's keep. This is a good hand. Ancient Tomb into Ruby Medallion. Force of Negation, exiling Force of Negation. Okay. So we could play Ruby Medallion again on turn 2, assuming we're not hit by a Wasteland here. They play a Cloud Post, so they're blue post. Okay. Chalice of the Void for 0. I don't care. Sure. Let's play another Ruby Medallion. Play the Mountain. Pass the turn. The Storm of Memories was a good draw, assuming that the Seething Song resolves. They play another Cloud Post. Let's start with Rite of Flame and Seething Song. Reckless Impulse. Things are looking pretty good for us here. Play another Ren's Resolve. Okay. Let's play the Rail Monsoon Mage. And I think I would like to Jeska's Will for mana here. Target the opponent. The Rail triggers. So I've played Ruby Medallion and the Rail Monsoon Mage this turn. Actually, no. Just the Rail Monsoon Mage. So this is the 5th spell for Rail. We'll say Tails. No, I don't want to transform. Jeska's Will. We'll cast Wish. So now we are allowed to transform the Rail Monsoon Mage. Wish resolves. Play the Ancient Tomb. Now let's play Defense Grid. Storm of Memories. Let's go. So now the Rail Monsoon Mage trigger. Yes, I would like to transform. This game is over. Okay, so we'll cast Seething Song. Our opponent opened up on double Force of Negation, Chalice of the Void, and they're still going to lose on turn 3. That is bananas. Okay. Here we go. Love it. Cast that Rite of Flame. Jeska's Will. We'll do cards. We don't need more mana here. Storm of... sorry. I was supposed to start casting these. I thought there was another spell there. I was just clicking too fast. So now Storm of Memories on these ones. So they'll cast. This card is quite good. I was definitely wrong with my initial impression of this card. I thought that it was going to be not particularly strong. Sometimes you're wrong, and that happens in Magic. I'm glad to be wrong, and, you know, I was willing to try it just to see if I was wrong, and I'm glad that I did. We'll grab Grape Shot. Target you. Boom! Okay. Well, that was impressive. I like it. We'll bring in Defense Grid. I think I'd like to shave a Rite of Flame and Jeska's Will. The reason I'm willing to board out Jeska's Will here is that our opponent is playing 8 forces in their deck and Chalice of the Void. So Chalice of the Void is a card that they can play for free in order to make the Jeska's Will a little bit worse. And then the forces, it's a card that is going to be forced more often, and then every additional copy you have gets a little bit worse because they're not likely to make mana. And unlike Ren's Resolve or Reckless Impulse, you can't cast the cards next turn. It's this turn only. So it's a little bit of a liability versus blue decks. My only fear with boarding it out is that we're boarding out an action spell, and I worry about fizzling, but we'll see what happens. Game 2 on the draw. This hand is amazing. We'll keep. My best draw is likely an Ancient Tomb. They mulligan to 5. Leyline of the Void. Okay. So that means my Storm of Memories isn't as good. They have Ancient Tomb pass. We'll play Mountain and pass. Ren's Resolve was a fine draw. And step they Kozilek's Command for 0, so they just drew a card. They play Sink in a Stupor as a land. And a Stock Up. So this is likely to find them a Force of Will if they did not already have one. So I doubt that our Ruby Medallion resolves, but I'm still supposed to play it. They have 4 cards in their hand. Ooh, I like that. Ruby Medallion? They're considering forcing this, I can tell. That long pause, and they do it. Okay, they have 2 cards in their hand. 3 after their draw step. They play Planar Nexus and the One Ring. Alright, so their card advantage engine is online. We will play Ruby Medallion. So they're going to draw 3 cards next turn. We are not in the driver's seat. We really need to, you know, have some key spells resolve on our turn. They play a Glimmer Post. They're up to 11. Turn the Great Creator. I don't think that matters here. They already shut off my graveyard. I don't think there's anything they can grab for 1 mana that I care about. I could be wrong, but we'll see. They find another copy of the One Ring. So they have the One Ring and 3 unknown cards in their hand. I'll begin with a Desperate Ritual. That resolves. We'll play Rail Monsoon Mage. They're F6'd. Wow. Okay, so if that's the case, this should be a pretty easy win. Runs Resolve. Tails. Play Reckless Impulse. Tails. Storm is 5. Play Rite of Flame, Storm 6. Tails. No. Burning Wish. Tails. Yes. Because now I can ultimate. This is really impressive, I have to say. I don't know if I'm just running hot or if the deck is nuts, but we're 3-0 and it has not been difficult. Let's try to win match number 4. The Gold Sabertooth times the Epic Storm collection has arrived with 3 full-size tokens showcasing the beloved Dark Ritual, CDH Rogsai, and Legacy of the Epic Storm for just $5. On the backs of these tokens, there's a place for my signature or a custom message. In addition to these sweet tokens, a friendly reminder that all orders that ship from theepicstorm.com also come with a signed Storm token from yours truly. Can we get another one? It's match number 4. We're on the play again. Let's see it. No, I think we have to mulligan. Unfortunate. We will keep this. But I think you're actually supposed to bottom the Sandstone Needle here just to avoid Wasteland. Because you have the option of being a little bit more resilient at the cost of speed. But I think that's okay. It's not like our hand is ready to win anyway. Our hand doesn't actually do anything. So I need to draw into Burning Wish or the card Wish itself. Reckless Impulse, that sort of thing. Alright, they play a Bayou. And Thoughtseize. Okay. Don't love that, but I understand. They take the Ruby Medallion. We find Song of Memories, which doesn't actually help here just because I don't have anything to do with it. It does get us closer to 6 spells for the Rail Monsoon Mage, which is nice. But I need like a Reckless Impulse or something. That's really what we want here. They play a Verdant Catacombs, Basic Forest, Ignoble Hierarch, and Aquarian Ranger. Okay. Please be good to me, deck. Manamorphose, I'll take it. Seething Song? Alright, we're gonna try to win. Manamorphose. Tails. No. Red. Runs Resolve? Okay. Tails? No. Rite of Flame? Tails. We'll play Seething Song from Exile. And then we'll hold priority and cast the other. This gives us an extra chance to flip the Rail Monsoon Mage here. We'll say Tails. We lose. Tails again. We win. We'll transform. And now I can ultimate the Rail Leyline Prodigy with 12 red mana floating. The only spell we hit was Burning Wish. How crazy is that? Alright, so I don't need to play the Burning Wish quite yet. We'll play Storm of Memories. Ren's Resolve. Seething Song, Manamorphose, Red, Rite of Flame, Seething Song. And the Seething Song is the last one, so before this resolves, I will cast Desperate Ritual, and I get a little bit of extra mana here. Alright, 30 red mana floating, Storm is 14. I'll play Rite of Flame and Burning Wish. They're at 16 from their own Thoughtseize plus fetch lands, which means I can play Burning Wish for Grape Shot right now, and it's already enough to win. Alright, well that was cool. That was a game where we mulliganed and got Thoughtseized, and we still won on turn 3. Maybe there's something here. Blast Zone, that seems pretty good against the Elves deck, or a deck similar to Elves. I'll board out 1 Sandstone Needle, and maybe a Rite of Flame on the draw. We'll try this. Actually, hold on. We'll leave 1 Blast Zone in the board for Wish. I feel like that's probably a better idea. We'll just swap 1 in the main deck for a Sandstone Needle. Well, this is a hand I will keep. There's no reducer, but you can go nuts with Song of Memories. They mulligan to 6. They play Once Upon a Time. And they reveal White of the Reliquary. They play Misty Rainforest and Ignoble Hierarch. Okay, 4 cards remain in their hand. Ruby Medallion. Good draw. I will play the Sandstone Needle and we'll pass the turn. So next turn I can play Ancient Tomb into Ruby Medallion. And then potentially, Thoughtseize. Okay. Well, that changes things a little bit. They take the Ruby Medallion. They play Ignoble Hierarch and a Dryad Arbor. 2 cards left in their hand, one of which is White of the Reliquary. And we hit Wish. Wow. Okay, so we'll begin with a Rite of Flame. Cycle the Manamorphose. Red. I think I would like to Ren's Resolve here. Maybe that's greedy, because that actually takes me off of Storm of Memories unless I hit mana. I'll play the Desperate Ritual, and then we'll play Storm of Memories floating 1. Cast the Desperate Ritual. And the Storm of Memories does generate mana here. And now we'll Manamorphose. If I hit a Seething Song, we can actually cast it, and then resolve it before the Storm of Memories. Oh, Jessica's Will doesn't do that here. But that's okay. So we're at 8 mana now. I could Burning Wish into empty the Warrens. That is a possibility. But I think I'm going to just Ren's Resolve down to 6. We had a Rail Monsoon Mage. We'll play that. Jessica's Will for cards. Only leaves me with 2 red mana floating, though, so I wouldn't be able to play a card off Wish if I miss. Play Tails. I win the Rail Monsoon Mage flip. Oh, wow. That was beautiful. We'll play Desperate Ritual. Manamorphose. Red. We'll ultimate the Rail Leyline Prodigy. Play a Rail Monsoon Mage. Cast Seething Song. Storm 13. Tails. We lose the flip. And our opponent just conceded the game. Nice. Alright, we're 4-0. This has been an incredibly easy league. This deck is powerful. I like it quite a bit. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. We're going to go and try to win match number 5 and get a trophy. The best Legacy podcast? That would be Eternal Glory featuring myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Brian Koval and Phil Gallagher. We're available on all major podcast platforms and YouTube. For the trophy, here in match number 5, we're on the play with Legacy Ruby Storm featuring Storm of Memories. I hope we get this one. I think it would be really exciting to 5-0 with Ruby Storm and Legacy. You don't see that all the time. Okay, so waiting on our opponent here. They're in Yorion deck. We don't know if that means Death and Taxes or Control. We have a turn 2 Ruby Medallion. I'm going to keep it. If they're Death and Taxes and they have a Wasteland, I'm probably going to cry myself to sleep. But if there's no Wasteland, this hand is capable of doing some stuff. So on turn 2, Sandstone Needle, Rite of Flame, Ruby Medallion, Manamorphose, Ren's Resolve. So the potential of a broken hand is here. Sandstone Needle, pass. Praying for no Wasteland. No Wasteland. Oh, no, not like this. Okay, I mean, I'd take a Thoughtseize over a Wasteland. I would have preferred like an Aether Vial or some creature I don't care about, though. Goodbye to my Ruby Medallion. We hit a land. Okay. Let's play the Ren's Resolve. Play our Mountain. Pass the turn. I cannot play Jessica's Will here. I'm a mana short. Now they have the Wasteland. That hurts. No! Thoughtseize into Thalia? That's so mean. Wow. I think we're done. I don't think we're going to be able to come back from this. We'll play Ren's Resolve. I need like land Rail Monsoon Mage. Well, I hit the land, and I'm forced to pass the turn. I need Rail Monsoon Mage if we want to stand a chance. They play Marsh Flats. A lot of lists don't even play Thalia anymore, so I'm a little surprised by that. Overlord of the Baelmurk. And now they have Solitude and Orcish Bowmasters. They chose Thalia, which makes sense because they get to blink the Overlord. I need that Rail Monsoon Mage here. The Sandstone Needle. That doesn't help me. Okay, we'll play it. Pass the turn. I cannot play the Manamorphose because it costs 3 mana due to the Thalia. They destroy my Sandstone Needle, and now they swing. So now Rail Monsoon Mage isn't even an out because they have the Thalia to blink the Overlord and get back the Solitude. I can Burning Wish for Grape Shot. That's a possibility. It's just then they can blink the Overlord and once again get back the Thalia. I'll grab Grape Shot. Pass. And here comes the Thalia. They could also blink the Thalia with the Thalia, and then the Thalia will get +1/+1 counter. A +1/+1 counter. They blink the Overlord and a White Orchid Phantom. Okay, sure. They return Orcish Bowmasters to their hand. We hit the Rail Monsoon Mage. Hold on, is there a world in which I can do something meaningful here? So I could play the Rail. Rite of Flame costs 1. I would need to spike off the Manamorphose draw, but it's possible. I mean, there is a potential to do something here. I just need the draw off Manamorphose to be good. Rail Monsoon Mage. Rite of Flame. Trigger the Rail. Tails. Manamorphose. I need this draw to be good. Tails. I'll say no. You could flip the Rail and then ping the Thalia, but then you don't have a reducer, so it just doesn't make sense. Red, red, please be good to me. Okay, so now we can Seething Song. Tails. We get a chance to win here. Target the Thalia. I need to win some rail flips, but anything is possible. Actually, I can't. I guess I could theoretically flip. So Burning Wish would be spell number 6. I don't have a target for Shattering Spree. So I can't even 50-50 try to flip. I think I'm forced to pass the turn. And then we'll kill the Thalia. Trying to think if I'm wrong here at all. So I can play Burning Wish. That would be spell 6. But that doesn't ultimate the Rail Leyline Prodigy. And I have nothing to cast for a single red mana or free off the Burning Wish. Oh, I forgot. Thalia's gone. Okay, so we do get a 50-50. I was wrong. So I can Galvanic Relay, and then, or even Jeska's Will. Alright, Burning Wish. Say yes. So I could Jeska's Will for mana, so that way if I win the flip, we don't have to worry about mana off of the Rail ult. Or I could get Galvanic Relay and plan for not winning the flip, which might be better. Galvanic Relay. Alright, here it is. Tails. We won. Wow, what a game. So now Galvanic Relay resolves. Storm of Memories. Mountain, Reckless Impulse. Ruby Medallion. Rail Monsoon Mage, Reckless Impulse. And a Seething Song. We will now ultimate the Rail Leyline Prodigy. And that looks like 7 spells. Oh boy, our opponent's dead. We somehow beat Thoughtseize, Wasteland, Thalia, plus Thalia Overlord Blink. This deck is nuts. I'm not just saying that, like, this is incredible. We'll Reckless Impulse, play Rite of Flame, Jeska's Will for cards, Storm is 13, play the Rail Monsoon Mage, Desperate Ritual, Tails. Maybe I wasn't supposed to play the Rail, because there's a world in which I lose 7 flips in a row. So maybe that's how I lose this. We'll put the Rail trigger underneath the Storm triggers. Yeah, maybe that was just a mistake on my part. Because now we need to Storm of Memories into the Grape Shot, and they just conceded. I got a little lucky there. I think that they should have made me click. I was at 7. We'll bring in the Blast Zone. They could be a Deafening Silence deck. And then, what to board out? I think I want 18 lands in this matchup. Maybe a Jeska's Will and a Rite of Flame. We'll try this. Game 2 on the draw, we will keep. They play Karakas and Deafening Silence. Okay, that card is incredibly tough for us to beat. We only have the 2 Blast Zones. We'll play Sandstone Needle and pass the turn. Yeah, facing a deck that's actually playing Deafening Silence is really rough for us. Stoneforge Mystic, and they find a Lion Sash. I think I'll play Reckless Impulse here, hoping to hit lands. We do. Pass the turn. They activate the Stoneforge Mystic for a Meteor Sword. Brutal. Okay, we'll draw. Ruby Medallion. We'll play that. So we need red mana and a Blast Zone. Asking for a bit, but it's possible. They attack with the Stoneforge Mystic. Ouch. No red mana or Blast Zone. We will pass. Disruptor Flute. Okay. They name Burning Wish. They play the Lion Sash. I would like a basic mountain and then define the Blast Zone. We draw Burning Wish. That doesn't really help. Alright, so I think I'm going to discard the Burning Wish here. They play an Aether Vial. They swing. I'm at 14. Oh my. We're not having a whole lot of luck here. One red source in the top 25% of my deck is not average. They play Prismatic Vista. Skyclave Apparition, so they get to kill my Ruby Medallion now. And I'll take 2 down to 12. Rail Monsoon Mage. We are running out of time. Get rid of the Jeska's Will. So I'm pretty confident we're not going to win this one. So let's start daydreaming of a perfect hand for game 3. I would like to open 3 Rite of Flames, a Basic Mountain, and Burning Wish. That way I can turn 1 empty the Warrens and get underneath a Deafening Silence. They take the Jeska's Will and Recruiter of the Guard. Okay. They find a Thalia, and I think I'm good to pick this one up. Alright, so our deck didn't really do the thing. We saw a lot of cards to not hit a red mana. And still no red mana. Over 33% of the deck. There we go. That's kind of nuts. But, you know, weird things happen in Magic. Game 3 for the marbles. I am going to resubmit. I would love to trophy. Deafening Silence is backbreaking, so if they mulligan to that card, we're in trouble. But they also open-handed it in their 80-card deck game 2, so who knows. On the play. This hand eats it to a Wasteland. I don't think I can keep this, even if I don't get hit by Wasteland. I mean, it's fine. It's just like a little clunky. I'm going to mulligan. This is probably better. Get rid of the third land. Mountain past the turn. They play Scrubland. Deafening Silence twice in their 7-card hand. Okay. We'll play Ruby Medallion. Like, I'm pretty sure even the 80-card Death and Taxes builds only play 1 or 2 of this card in the sideboard. So I'm a little surprised to see it so consistently. They play a Swamp and Thoughtseize. They take my Burning Wish. Let's play Ren's Resolve. We hit the Blast Zone. Wow. Okay. I'll play the Rail Monsoon Mage and pass the turn. Okay. Prismatic Vista. They Solitude and exile the Rail Monsoon Mage, exiling a Felia. And now they play a Lion Sash. Pretty good against the Storm of Memories in my hand. I'll play the Blast Zone. So I can activate the... I think I have to go for it here. We'll Blast Zone for 1. The fact that they had Lion Sash is actually insane. Because now, if they exile the Burning Wish, I am all in on a Ren's Resolve. Play Seething Song. Storm of Memories. Okay. This whole league might come down to how good this Ren's Resolve is. They do eat the Burning Wish. Cast Seething Song. Storm of Memories. Here it is, Ren's Resolve. Please be good. Okay, so the Manamorphose gives me a chance to cast it again off the Storm of Memories. We have a 50-50. I did not draw a payoff. And I did hit the Manamorphose, so that I won the 50-50. Now we get another chance. Red. Yes! Let's go! Let's go! Desperate Ritual. Ruby Medallion. Burning Wish. Firm 10. Okay, so I have a couple options here. I could Jessica's Will for cards. I could empty the Warrens for like 20-something. 22. I think it's supposed to be the Empty the Warrens. Jessica's Will has risk. Storm of Memories doesn't actually do it. Empty the Warrens. Oh my. They play Overlord of the Balemark. That does... I mean, I guess they can get back Solitude. Okay. We actually fought our way through Game 1 and Game 3. Wow. And we got the trophy. We went 5-0 with Legacy Ruby Storm featuring Song of Memories. Or, I'm sorry, Storm of Memories. I probably messed that up a bunch in the video saying Song of Memories. Storm of Memories. I loved the deck list. I wouldn't change anything. I know we didn't really use the Leyline of the Voids, but they're really good against combo. We didn't actually face a whole lot of combo outside of Mystic Forge. The deck was incredible. No changes. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Wow, that was a sick one. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Keep storming. Hey, Bryant Cook. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. There's no better way to support our channel. If you're interested in elevating your combo game, visit theepicstorm.com/tutoring for details about our coaching sessions. Don't worry, there's more great combo content coming right up.